Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Brace for it. Banana board warns country of imminent shortage of banana and plantain. More concerns ahead of school reopening. And later in sports, Jamaica in line for at least 3 more medals on day 4 at World Athletics Under-20 Championships in Peru. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carrie Simpson. Here are the details. We begin this afternoon with worrying news for Jamaican consumers. The local banana board is warning of an imminent shortage in banana and plantain. The board said the situation is the result of the extensive damage caused to the sector by Hurricane Beryl. A detailed assessment conducted by the board revealed that an average of 74% damage in the sector. General Manager of the Banana Board, Janet Connie, said at 74%, the damage assessment amounts to $2.1 billion. Mrs. Connie says the actions of banana and plantain farmers during this time will determine the rate of recovery over the next 9 months. Meanwhile, she is encouraging farmers to take the necessary steps to improve their yields as quickly as possible. The government is reiterating calls for the use of hurricane straps during roof construction. This as the state continues to roll out assistance for victims who suffered significant damage to their homes during last month's hurricane. Details in this report.
The region is already halfway through the Atlantic hurricane season, but weather experts predict there could still be another 7 major hurricanes this season. But after suffering such a brutal beating from Hurricane Beryl, Jamaicans are already devastated.
If you take a survey as to how many houses lost roof, it's a large number.
Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie has a theory for why so many homes were damaged during last month's heavy rainfall.
We don't take the necessary time to ensure that you have on a proper roof.
It's why the minister is reiterating calls for greater effort to be placed on proper infrastructural developments across the island, particularly when building houses. His suggestion, the use of hurricane straps. Now, these metal connectors reinforce the connection between the roof truss and the wall to minimize the risk of a roof being ripped off.
I was in Alligator Pond, and when I look at some of the homes that have lost roof, and right sitting in between, I saw some houses. I am wondering, how in the name of God did these houses stood up to bury? And when I look up, I could count the hurricane straps.
It's against this backdrop the ministry announced it will be donating 10,000 straps to some Jamaicans.
We're still in the hurricane season, and if we should have another hurricane, we are hoping that your roof will remain.
So as we look to restore the homes, it is critical that we don't put people back in the same position that any breeze blow, mash them up. We have to put people back in a better, more resilient, stronger position.
And as the state continues to roll out assistance for Beryl victims, a stern warning from Member of Parliament for Clarendon Southeastern Pernal Charles Jr. to persons who attempt to charge vulnerable Jamaicans for donated items.
I am hearing some things on the road in relation to persons coming in to the space to give help, who have gotten material that is to go to the residents. I want to warn that any material that is supposed to be for the benefit of a resident, any resident that has to pay for that material and inform me, people will be locked up.
Amoy Harriet, TVJ News.
Following customer complaints about the continued receipts of bills without service, telecommunication providers Digicel and Flow have confirmed with the Office of Utilities Regulation OUR that there has been no usage charge for the period of interruption since Beryl for customers whose service is unrestored. More in this
The
report.
Office of Utilities Regulation (OUR) says despite the no usage charge for the period of interruption, customers who've had service before and after Hurricane Beryl should pay the charges on their bills. Telecommunication provider Flow says customers without service since the passage of the hurricane will not see any usage charge for the period of interruption. The company says the rental charges that are billed to customers' account, despite the service interruption, are a function of Flow's billing system and will be reversed once the service is restored. Flow has also advised that the customers will not lose their number if they do not pay the rental charges applied during the period of service interruption. And customers who've had service interruptions for more than 72 hours because of the hurricane will benefit from a one-time rebate. It'll be automatically applied to the customer's bills immediately following service restoration. As for Digicel, customers that were out of service, their bills should not reflect any usage charges for the period of interruption. Rebates will also be applied to the accounts of postpaid mobile and Digicel Plus customers who've lost service based on the number of days. The OUR is urging customers of the telecommunications providers to be vigilant and to ensure that the companies are meeting their commitment and to bring observed deviations to its attention. Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
Now, more reactions this afternoon to the shortage of teachers in the education system. The situation is again in focus as the new school year approaches. Now, one principal believes the Ministry of Education is not treating with the issue of teacher shortage as the emergency it is.
Principal of Yalis High, Mark Malava, says with the reopening of the new school year mere hours away, his administration is not quite ready. His school needs at least 6 educators to teach science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and physical education.
It is hampering our state of readiness for the start of the new school year. There are some concerns that are being raised by the school's administration as to how we treat with that. I'll be having a strategic meeting first thing Monday morning to take another look at it. In the meantime, we continue to advertise for these positions.
Additionally, he says funding is another issue.
Schools like Yalis are in a constant state of deficit financially. And it has been a challenge that I know that the Ministry of Education is aware of. And quite frankly, the Ministry of Education needs to treat with it as a matter of urgency.
Mr. Malava explained that the last time schools received adequate funding was in 2016. But he says his administration will have to work with the limited resources available to them until the tide changes.
When we continue to press on, we have been more than resilient in treating with the issues. Notwithstanding our challenges, we have been doing well. Particularly in CSEC and external exams. Just coming out of a meeting, doing an assessment of the exams results, and we have been doing pretty well. We are on an upward trajectory, but we need resources.
Raquel Porter, TVJ News.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Still on education, concerned stakeholders are adding their voice to the debate on how to increase educational outcomes locally. The details in this report.
The results of the recent PEP and CSEC exams again highlighted the weaknesses of many students, and worried stakeholders are now searching for solutions. Veteran educator and principal of Church Teachers College, Dr. Garth Anderson, wants the Ministry of Education and other partners to boost support for STEM teachers, emphasizing the critical role of science and technology in today's world.
We are living in an age where knowledge is undergirded by science and technology, and scientific knowledge is becoming a requirement for educators in a new paradigm of existence. I'm therefore calling on all our partners, past and present students, corporate Jamaica, the Ministry of Education, well represented here today, to come on board and help us to realize this dream. We only need just a small amount of money, $600 million, to realize this dream.
He was speaking at the Church Teachers College 60th anniversary press launch in Mandeville, Manchester on Thursday. Keynote speaker at the event, Mark Carr-Jarrett, executive chair of Barnett Limited, urged increased collaboration between government and the private sector, stressing that teachers alone cannot fix the education system.
The challenges faced by our education system today cannot be tackled alone. Governments, educational institutions, businesses, and communities must unite in a concerted effort to support and uplift education.
In the meantime, opposition spokesperson on education, Senator Damian Crawford, reasoned that while STEM is crucial, the entire education system is in dire need of attention.
Well, we need more support across the entire education system. We only had 18% of our Jamaican students passing 5 subjects, including math and English. And that compared to Trinidad, which have 45%, and Barbados, which is even better than Trinidad. So we're lagging behind generally in education, and there needs to be greater support for education in totality.
Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
The Southeast Regional Health Authority has confirmed that a recent power surge at the Bustamante Hospital for Children caused temporary disruptions to surgical services. TVJ News understands that the technical team at the hospital is working to resolve the issue and restore full functionality to the affected operating theaters. According to Sarah, the hospital will be implementing measures to minimize the impact on patient care. All elective surgical procedures have been cancelled and only urgent and emergency surgeries are being accommodated at this time. Patients and their families who have upcoming surgeries scheduled in the affected theaters will be contacted directly to provide updates and rescheduling options. It's now time for the Business Minute.
Jamaicans spent more on utilities this year when compared to a similar period last year. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, says the average cost of goods and services in the housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels category was 5%. For the month of July alone, the division rose by 0.1%. Statin says the group water supply and miscellaneous services relating to the dwelling saw an increase of 1.5% due to higher water and sewage rates. There was a 0.1% rise in the prices associated with maintenance, repair, and security of the dwelling. These increases were, however, tempered by a 0.1% fall in the group electricity, gas, and other fuels due to lower electricity rates. Further afield, the Labor Day holiday travel period is underway. The Transportation Security Administration in the U.S. projects Friday will be the busiest travel day for flyers. The agency expects to screen a record-breaking 17 million people at airports from Thursday through Wednesday. Nearly 3 million of them will be on Friday. The TSA reminds travelers to arrive extra early for domestic and international flights. And prices at the pump may also be more travel-friendly. Gas Buddy projects a national average of $3.27 for this weekend. That would be about 50% cheaper than last Labor Day, and the cheapest for the holiday since 2021. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Raquel Porto.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, the CARICOM Secretariat is launching a 6-week Caribbean Community CARICOM Mental Health First Aid Program in September 2024, designed to train young professionals, including youth directors and leaders, to become skilled first responders to emotional and mental health challenges. This initiative is part of CARICOM's broader efforts to build youth capacity following previous interventions on climate change, health issues, and advocacy for the CARICOM single market and economy. On the international scene, Elon Musk has stepped up online attacks on a judge threatening to suspend a social media platform X in Brazil. Justice Alexandre de Moraes threatened to suspend X if Musk did not appoint a new legal representative and settle any outstanding fines within 24 hours. Musk lashed out on X, calling de Moraes an evil dictator cosplaying as a judge. The trash talking marks the latest in Musk's and de Moraes' months-long feud. It centers on arguments over free speech and alleged disinformation. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Nikinsky Robinson.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.